I'm having a real reckoning with this bob situation. I think you guys know at this point how much I just love to cut my hair. Anyway, hi. So, a trend that I saw floating around on the TikTok for a while toward the end of 2024, and that I've now also seen kind of trickling over to Instagram Reels, is doing your makeup like it's the year you were born, which I love. I love that prompt. I think it's so cute. It's warm in here. I happen to be born in 1996. I was born on the last day of 1996. So I'm a New Year's Eve baby. And so I just barely kind of snuck in there. And turns out I'm very lucky to have done so, because the makeup look we are going to do today, like it's 1996, is like right up my alley, like speaks to my soul, really. Let me actually pull up my inspo pictures. I have an entire folder of inspo pictures because I'm me. Is this essentially me putting off me inevitably having to do 2000s makeup because that has obviously been more trendy recently? Yes. Eventually I'm gonna do it. I just don't feel like doing it right now. I'm not there yet. You guys barely got me onto frosted lipstick like just recently. Yeah, I need time. I need time to process. Anyway, today we're doing our makeup like it's 1996. So when I was looking up inspo pictures for this look, the overwhelming, what it all just kind of kept coming back to was a practically naked, or at least barely touched, barely structured eye. Fresh, bright, even complexion. Very natural looking skin for the most part. We're gonna get into the nuances later. And more often than not, the focus was on the lips. It was very much a time, like when you think about the vampy 90s lip, that was like at its peak in 1996. And all of this makes perfect sense to me when I think about some of the movies that came out that year that quite obviously influenced what was trending, which we're going to talk about in a bit here. So the palette I'm opting for the purposes of today, is the Huda Beauty Icy Nude, which I have dipped into twice. It was actually the palette I reached for to do my birthday makeup last New Year's Eve, and also on New Year's Day I wound up meeting with some family for lunch, and so I was just like, I already had this out, so I just dipped into it again. I didn't give it a very good chance because I was doing my makeup real quick and dirty. I didn't even use primer on my eyes or face, so I really wasn't giving it the opportunity to last for any decent amount of time. I was kind of just doing a smudgy liner moment and moving on. So today we're giving her a real good go because I think she's going to be perfect for this look. Today I will actually use an eyeshadow primer with this palette. My favorite eyeshadow primer, the only eyeshadow primer I have used since I bought it, actually. I'm gonna set that eye primer with this white matte shade. It's not gonna like turn my eye white, it's practically translucent. This is one of the shades that I dipped into before when I used it randomly those 2 days in a row. This palette was a Christmas gift from my mommy. Thank you, Mom. It's so fun. This is the only Huda Beauty palette I've ever had. I've never really, I only kind of recently, I'm gonna add a bit more up here. I have more Huda Beauty products in my collection now currently than ever before in my life. I'm like thinking about it, I don't think prior to this year I've ever actually bought anything from Huda Beauty before. I've been very appreciative of her rebrand situation. My eyes are already watering. SOS. Going in with this slightly smaller fluffy brush. I'm dipping into this like barely there greigey shade. And I'm tapping that over the crease and kind of swooping it around the goal is to do a complete eye look, but have it look like you've got like nothing there. You feel me? And again, you could completely skip eyeshadow. You could just do liner. You could just do mascara. You could do a completely naked eye. You could do nothing on the eyes. Just curl your lashes and move on. But I feel like doing a little something. I'm trying to do something just a little bit balanced because, you know, some of our girls here were still showing up to premieres and stuff mugged the fuck up. So, and I'm not really doing any fancy work here. I'm more or less just following the natural shape of my eyes and my crease and stuff. I'm dipping into the more like pigmented grayish taupe shade. And I'm just going to keep that on the most outer part. I'm actually going to take what's on here and split it up between my eyes because I really just want it to be like barely there. Just a little bit of shading. When the girls were rocking eyeshadow, they were like overwhelmingly sticking to cooler tones just to really kind of lightly shade the eyes. I'm going to go in with the first fluffy brush that I used with the white shade and literally just like buff over this entire situation. I just want like a whisper of shadow. What I might do is actually just pick up a little bit more of the white and tap it right on the lid. Oh yeah, just to kind of brighten a little bit, create a little bit more dimension. Yeah, so you can see it's very, very subtle, and I'm just gonna go right in with, why did I pull that out? That's not what I wanted. And I'm just gonna go right in with a little dark brown pencil liner. I know that watching people tightline can really oog some people out, so I'll actually just come back to you after I've done that. Alright, we're back. I feel like I barely touched my eyes, and that's probably still a little too much eyeliner, but it's fine. Let's launch right into the base. The base is going to be pretty simple. Really, this whole look is something I could probably throw together in a matter of like 10 minutes if I wasn't stopping to talk to the camera constantly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix together my Makeup by Mario foundation with my white House Labs foundation. You guys know I love this. Well, I love both these. This is my favorite foundation formula, period, but I also really like this as a mix-in medium. And it comes in handy for days like today, because something that I did see happen a lot in these inspo pics is the complexion, to kind of amplify that very vampy look. The complexion being really brightened. Drew Barrymore in particular rocked this kind of look a lot. There are pictures of her from this year, from this kind of era, where her face and sometimes her neck are noticeably lighter than the rest of her, and also sometimes just straight up white, which I think is so interesting. I'm not going for straight up white, but we are going to mix like half a pump of each of these, because I also just don't want too much on the skin. Like so. I'm going to mix it in the palm of my hand. That's more or less what we get. And I'm honestly just going to apply it with my fingers and probably work it in a little bit with my fingers and see how that treats me before I go in with any brushes or sponges. This is something I pretty much never do, but for some reason, it just feels right. So 1996 makeup makes perfect sense when you take a look at the movies that came out in that year, like The Craft and Scream are really great examples. If you look at the way all those actresses have their makeup done in those movies, but also the way that they were wearing their makeup to like the premieres, various events they were going to, just kind of their day-to-day glam. It's all very indicative of what was trending. It's obviously a lot of the influence behind this very vampy but simple kind of look. Like, just looking at pictures from the premieres of Scream and The Craft, it really kind of shows the spectrum of 1996 glam so perfectly. It's all very perfectly encapsulated in those looks that they were wearing for their movie premieres. I mean, Courtney Cox came to the Scream premiere looking pretty glamorous compared to the other girls from that movie. They were all much more doing what we're doing today, but this was a very common makeup look for her day-to-day. It's very recognizable from her Friends era. Friends had been on the air for 2 years at this point, so the focus being on the lips in the overwhelming majority of these looks is kind of the key thing here. Drew Barrymore, in particular, I think was a big influence in this kind of look being very popular. If you look at the makeup she was doing that year, even if you look at her makeup in Scream, it carries over so perfectly. She's basically doing a very pared down version of her usual glam. The very kind of blank, evened out skin, the basically naked eye, and just like that beautiful brown nude lip, that like signature, when you think of a 90s lip, you think about the brown nude lip. So in the interest of keeping things interesting, I know I should probably completely skip contour and blush, but I'm not gonna. We weren't completely allergic to it in 1996. Give me a break. Some of these girls are noticeably sculpted in the cheek area, so I'm going to partake. So I'm gonna do like the barest touches of each in the interest of keeping things light. We know where we want our focus to be. We want it to be on the lips, so I'm gonna try not to distract from that too much, and I'm just gonna kind of contour the way that I normally would. And then with the blush, I think I will do a bit of a different placement than is typical for me. For blush placement, I think I'm gonna kind of more or less just kind of trace this along the contour area and just kind of work it up. And I'm going to keep it strictly on the cheeks. I think what I'm going to do actually is take the contour brush I just used and work that in so that the two tones basically blend into each other. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Basically more or less using the blush to amplify the shape of the contour. Did I accidentally apply literally so much blush to this side? Or is that my lighting fucking with me? I'm basically kind of wrapping around the cheekbone area to make everything look more lifted. Really actually didn't want to take that up onto my temple, but I guess it's fine. Can you tell I'm tired? And then what I might do is just take the teensy weensiest bit of the white foundation, shear it out, and tap it over here, just to kind of brighten up the center of the face. Blend over everything. Oh yeah, I actually like that a lot. Okay. What was I fucking saying before I got super distracted? Oh, yes, okay. Another really good example to look to during this period for makeup is actually Reese Witherspoon. She popped up a lot because she also had 2 movies come out in this year. So she was showing up in her 1996 glam and really looking like the epitome of it. Like, the 2 faces that I saw the most while I was doing my research for this video were overwhelmingly Drew Barrymore and Reese Witherspoon. They were showing up for 1996 glam. Okay, so now I'm just going to set pretty liberally with my Kosas cloud set. Do I need to do any smoothing out? Actually, no. I think that applying with my fingers wound up working out really well. I'm gonna tap over this edge a little bit because, like, yes, the cheeks were sculpted. Yes, not everything was always perfectly blended, but, like, I just cannot leave that way. Okay, good. Also, yes, I'm aware my brows are a little grown out for a 1996 glam moment, okay? I don't think I've touched them since 2025 started. I just have not been able to be bothered to pluck them at all. I'm over it. I might just, like, completely grow them back out. I might even give up on plucking them in the center. You guys might be looking at a full-on unibrow situation in a month's time. I don't know yet. I'm just kind of over it. Ooh, I'm a big fan of that skin. Let me show you. Like, right? Yeah. I'm basically setting my under eye a little further with that white eyeshadow. Again, it's not turning my under eye area stark white. It's just kind of nicely brightening. All right, let me blot off my plumping lip gloss. And let's get into the exciting part, the lips. So I have two kind of deep red options to dip into. My two favorites, really. I have Fortune Teller from Ritual Defeat, which is honest, it's more like a berry. It's not like a true red. It's got a very noticeable kind of purpley tone to it. And my personal favorite, which is so random, it's this lipstick, one of the lipsticks from the Glamlight Nightmare on Elm Street collection, which is very similar in tone, a bit more red, and also a very different finish. It's much more matte than the Ritual Defeat one is, but once you shear the Ritual Defeat one out, it kind of mattifies down. That shininess will kind of blot away. They're both really good options. Ooh. My gut is telling me to go with the Nightmare on Elm Street one. By the way, this came in a set of 2 lipsticks. It's the only lip set from Glamlight I was able to get behind because it was 2 shades. It was this beautiful deep burgundy and another really gorgeous mauve shade, which were just 2 shades that I knew I was going to get a lot of use out of. So I was very happy with that set, but the lipsticks themselves don't have names. Just so you know. That's why I keep referring to it as the Nightmare on Elm Street lipstick, is because they're both the Nightmare on Elm Street lipsticks. They don't have shade names. My gut is telling me to go with that one. Which means I actually should probably go with the Ritual Defeat one, because you guys have seen me wear the Nightmare on Elm Street one so many times. So I feel like I should actually use the other option, because it's still going to work perfectly fine for this look, and it's a beautiful, beautiful color, beautiful, beautiful formula. So let's give her her moment. So I'm going to start by lining my lips with a dark brown. This is an LYS lip pencil in the shade Devoted. All right, Ritual Defeat. Let's just pop you right on. See what I mean? Oh. Yes. Yes. It might actually be too dark. I might have flown too close to the sun. Let me look at my inspo photo so I can feel better about myself. It's fine. It's fine, actually. I'm going to brush my eyebrows and curl my lashes and put on mascara, and we're going to call this look done. Wasn't that fun? Wasn't that quick and easy? Exactly. And that is the completed look, more or less. Let me zoom you out a little bit, actually, so you can get the full effect. I'm a big fan of this. I'm a big fan of how this looks. This makes perfect sense for me and to me. Yeah, I think that this is super fun. It's like getting the most impact for ultimately very minimal effort. Like, this was actually such a simple look to throw together. And there are so many different ways you can do it and kind of play with these elements to make it your own, you know, to suit you. This is very 90s, but it's not all of the 90s. There were actually a lot of really different fun makeup trends throughout the 90s. This is just kind of one moment in 90s makeup that I personally really appreciate. I really identify with it. Makes perfect sense for me. Of course, this was the makeup of the year that I was barely born in. Anyway, that's it for today. I'm really happy with this. This is the makeup I'm gonna wear for the day, except the lips are probably gonna change because I think I'm about to film a little lip swatch video for you guys. Fun little bonus video, so stay tuned for that whenever that comes out. If you're not already subscribed, consider doing that so you don't miss that when I post it. Links to any and everything I'm doing on the internet, if you care about that, are down below in the description box, as well as links to all the products on my face currently, everything you saw me use today. Any link with a little asterisk next to it is an affiliate link, which means I make an itty bitty 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 commission off of your purchase if you shop through that link. It's not mandatory for you to use, it's just there if you want it, and I do appreciate it if you do. It helps out a lot. Let me know in the comments down below, what year were you born in? Would you wear the makeup that was trending that year? Is it like your style or no? Or let me know if you would try 1996 makeup. If you dig the vibe, if you would just kind of do whatever variation of it you feel suits you, whichever one is your favorite, let me know down below. Do I remember my outro? Anyway, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to hang out with me. It's very cool of you. I need to hop along and try to get pictures of this for the thumbnail and then film that lip swatch video. And other than that, I think I'm going to try to have a pretty chill day because I also want to film tomorrow. Who even am I? Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed and I hope you have an awesome rest of your day. Remember to be kind to others, be good to yourselves, and I'll see you back here for the next one very soon. Bye.